So on 31 Days of Horror, I watched The Black String with Frankie Muniz, and it had a trailer in it for Them That Follow. Now, this is a film that apparently came out in 2019. I had never heard of it, but the distribution company was 1091, which was the same one as The Black String, and it really intrigued me. Now, I looked it up. I looked into it. I was looking if it was like if I was able to stream it somewhere, kind of thing. But this is one of those other ones that I could only find on DVD and was about 30 Canadian or something like that. But it seemed extremely intriguing, so I'm like, what the hell? I'll buy it and I'll take a look at it. And because the cast in it just alone, I don't recognize all of the names, but the trailer like had me sold for sure. You got Olivia Colman, who is famous for The Queen, and she's been in all kinds of other performances. Tyrannosaur, which is a very independent British film. I'm pretty sure it's a British production. And everything she's in, everything she touches is gold, pretty much. So you got her, you got Thomas Mann, which is another familiar face, Project X, Me, Earl and the Dying Girl, and a phenomenal small performance in Halloween Kills that just came out, which I haven't made a review for, but I did. I'm on the liking side of that one. That one's very split, but I am on the liking side. So I was sold on the trailer for this one, and I thought it felt right up my alley. Now, it didn't work for me. I'm gonna say that. I'm gonna say what I liked about it, and I'm gonna say the positives about the film, because I really want to keep my channel on what I appreciate in cinema, because I like all cinema, and something may not work for me, but everything pretty much has its positives to say about it. So, like, if I don't like a film, I'm basically not going to review it. I really don't even consider myself a critic. I consider myself a reviewer. So that's basically what I do, is review films and talk about what I love about them. Simple enough. So with that, basically you're introduced to these two girls, these young girls named Mara and Dilly. Dilly being the younger, Mara being the older. Actually, I should say before that, you're introduced to Mara first. She's hanging out with this boy before the credits roll, kind of thing, but then you're introduced to Dilly. They're at a corner store. The boy that Mara was with comes over and offers the two girls a ride home. This film is a very small town feeling film, so you get that immediately off the bat. The store owner is, she goes by Hope, but she might also be called Sister Slaughter, I think, as the film goes on. But she is the mother of the boy who picked up the girls. So that boy's name is Augie. And you can tell that Augie and Mara have some kind of relationship. Basically, he takes them home. They are the daughters of a man named Lemuel? Yeah, that's his name, Lemuel. He's the town preacher, basically. And there's a lot of sermon scenes, and this film focuses on this character a lot, which is actually funny, because this is one of the things that I wish the film focused more on, is other characters other than just him. But he is a preacher, and he likes to work with snakes, which really doesn't make sense in Christianity, because a serpent or a snake is like directly a symbol of the devil. But what he does in his sermons is he'll take one and like either wrap it around somebody or put it near somebody, so to see if it bites them, because if it does, then they're cursed by the devil or some kind of thing. And again, it doesn't make sense, because the serpent is a symbol of the devil anyway, so it shouldn't be in a place of worship. So that made absolutely zero sense, but it's incredible how much it plays into the film. You get Mara, who she's basically being set up into a relationship with this boy named Garrett, and Garrett, I think it's Garrett, and it's like an arranged kind of thing. So the family wants her to, or the dad, I should say, the pastor, the father of Dilly and Mara, want Mara to marry this guy named Garrett, and Garrett is all like prepared for it, and that's her destiny. That's her arranged future kind of thing, because he's whatever, he's loved by the dad kind of thing. So she's basically arranged into that, but she had this relationship with Augie, sorry, and has this child inside her, and she figures this out at the beginning of the film, realizes she's pregnant, and is having this struggle with loving Augie and being forced to be with Garrett, which she has absolutely zero attraction to. And I've I've seen this happen to so many people, and I've actually even been in a similar experience. You can't control who people love. Like, it just doesn't work. It's going to backfire every single time. Every single time. And that's what's fascinating about the psychology and the mentality of the people in this film, including Hope, or Sister Slaughter, or whatever they call her. There's a scene, when I say Sister Slaughter, there's a specific scene that is why they call her that. But she, like I said, for now she's Augie's mother. And it's just ridiculous. Like, the whole idea and the whole concept of it is absolutely ridiculous. But Mara is so... You can tell the fear in her character, because she really does stick with this struggle of pleasing everybody around her, but being in love with this kid that, nobody wants for her, but is carrying her child. And that whole concept, it's very great on paper. This film is just very hard to follow in certain scenes, the way it's directed. It's not that it's just, it feels incomplete. That's basically what I would say. It has like a powerhouse performance by pretty much everybody, but it feels so incomplete and incoherent, like just the way, maybe it's the editing, maybe it's the directing choices. I mean, there's scenes there's plots that looks like there's scenes literally either cut or missing. For example, Garrett is driving with Lemuel they're driving down the road, and they're approached by a cop behind them. And Lemuel, the pastor, basically says, "Oh, don't worry about it. Your hands are with God now," because the cop was coming after them for the snakes, kind of thing. And it just kind of jumps forward to a week, like, he apparently was in jail for a week, but the film doesn't show that happening or explain it happening. He's like, you're just left to assume, kind of thing. It's little stuff like that. It seems like it was not put together completely or something. But what they were going for, I could definitely tell. The whole snake theme, there's a lot of symbolism with the snakes, for sure, 100%. And the scene that I was going to talk about with Sister Slaughter, there's a scene where, because apparently it's tradition before a woman marries that she has to get checked. I'm assuming for her virginity, which I don't even know how you can check that, but anyways, this woman, Hope, the mother of Augie, gives her a gynecologist treatment, I guess, and that's where she discovers that she's pregnant, and then she kind of puts two and two together and realizes that it's her son that fathered the baby, and it turns into an entire shit show from there. And it's not a new story, but there's a lot of disturbing elements to this film for sure. I think maybe you never know if it's like the production company coming behind things, kind of, or if it's the director. You never really know for sure, but it feels like a rush story and it feels pretty incomplete. But it still delivers in a lot of great elements of like shit that is just disturbing and doesn't make sense. Like there's a scene where Augie, the father, the guy who's fathering Mara, he goes to a sermon, he attends one, and they do the whole snake thing where the snake bites him and he gets infected. They do not believe in hospitals. Hospitals are like Satan. Like, hospitals are like completely demonized, right? Snakes aren't, which is a literal symbol for the devil, but hospitals, big no-no. So they take him home, and they're basically like, you're in God's hands now. So whatever happens to you happens. And then they just leave him there. He's praying to, he's not a religious guy, but he's praying that somebody take me to a freaking hospital. And they don't want to because they don't believe in that. So there's a point where he just starts to try and suck the blood out himself, and like he's spitting it on the floor. It's horrifying, and it just goes on, and they refuse to take him. Mara still loves him. Everybody after this finds out. Like the father is the last to find out. The pastor guy. He's the last to find out. And it's just absolutely insane what these people put this kid through. Like, there's a arms hacking scene because they're that determined not to take this kid to the hospital that they'd rather just use an electric saw to hack this kid's arm off. But this is the point that really got me. They're okay with a vet using like tranquilizers on him to numb the pain. A veterinarian for animals, but they're not okay with taking him to a hospital. Vet's cool, hospital's not. It's just freaking ridiculous. Also, the ending of this film, I reviewed The Rake that had like an abrupt ending. This film has an even worse abrupt ending. Okay, I'm not going to get into it, but the ending of this film, you need to go 2 minutes longer. I mean, with the kind of ending that this film has, again, not to criticize because I want to talk about the positives of this film, and I love a lot about this film, but with the ending that this film has, it just doesn't work, again, because you're not... Abrupt endings can work if you do them properly, but you can't just cut to black whenever you want. And it does that for no reason. There is no reason behind it. There's nothing left to guess or like. It just cuts, and that, like with The Rake, I don't know. I can't. It's tough, but we're here for the positives. So there's a lot of disturbing elements. The whole snake theme I really like. All the acting is amazing. Olivia Colman knocks it out of the park. Seriously, she does an amazing job. And just the stuff that, keeps going down in like this small town environment with this very heavily religious like environment. It always makes for very effective horror. There's a scene where Father Pastor is making a sermon in the forest, which I've actually never really seen before. Like, I've never seen too many sermons be held in forests, but he does. And there's this sick kid, and he's like shaking his head, and there's a whole like tongue speaking scene kind of thing. So it's pretty intense with that subject matter. But again, the snake stuff and the symbolism is awesome, but it's kind of weird when you're using them in religious practice because they don't mix with Christianity. It's like going to a church and you have the devil on the wall. Like, what the hell are you doing? It made no sense. but still it's still a decently enjoyable film for what it provides. So Them That Follow it hasn't been marketed too much, but it's one to look into, especially if you like the cast. The cast is what sold me personally, and the subject matter that it dealt with, like in the trailer, and what the trailer like provided for me. So it's a decent watch. So I would say I would recommend it. So subscribe to Morgan Film Fan if you like to listen to my voice, or if you like my film reviews. There's lots on the channel, and I'll be back with more, so stay tuned, and cheers till next time.